They'll be calling you a radical. We need to have a conversation about Fukushima and how this is played out and why it has not been folded into the popular culture even this time. And it's starting to turn into another Chernobyl as far as the populace, and the IAEA and the World Health Organization and the nuclear machine is getting up on us, and this is starting to turn into Chernobyl 2.0 as far as the populace. It really is. And I want to talk about the evolution and why, and talk about the truth and in detail about from day one on Fukushima till now, and try to explain to people the real serious, honest, not guessing, not hypothesizing what has happened and what is going on as far as the Pacific Ocean, the nuclear fallout. And as far as all you, what am I up to? Look, I'm into the point now that I know that we're in a serious spot as far, everybody's burned out. Fukushima completely burned out. And I know, just like when I was in there fighting cancer, the burnout stage is time that I've got to just go. I know that I've got to go, and I've got to, and you people that doubt my angles and my information and the angles that I use and the ways that I do and whatever, just go back in time and just track my credibility. Told you to get out of gold at 1900. Told you to get out of silver at 4,500. Or excuse me, $45. Told you to, the Strauss-Kahn was innocent. I mean, over and over and over and over. Told you that how Fukushima was going to play out. Told you they were dumping plutonium into the ocean over and over and over. Told you exactly what derivative to buy on Apple. Told you all these different things. You know, we can go back 2 years, and I'll do some anniversary videos when we get to August of when I, you know, these financial videos that I laid out in detail right before I got cancer. But as far as Fukushima goes, we need to talk about it. We need to talk about not just China syndrome, the reality of what's gone on, and the reality of why this is so conspiratorial. By definition. First off, let's start right at the start. My father was nuked to death in the Nevada test site, so I was doing some videos, you know, mostly finance videos, my PhD post-ignorance, but I did, you know, videos talking about the atomic veterans. You know, we have the very first monument ever put up for one of those guys. By the way, people make the mistake on the atomic veterans thinking that, oh, the government ARP's grants, and oh, they all got them some money. You know, there's video, we know who they are. There was a small group of atomic veterans that were the Special Forces Pendleton guys that they really human guinea pigged right at ground zero, and they wiped them out as far as, you know, a lot of them were killed in the blast in the Nevada test site. A lot of them died in hospitals in San Diego. They cut their tonsils out for experimentation. They did all kinds of things to them. This small group of them, and none of them ever got anything. And they all died. Every single one of them died later from acute belastic leukemia or AML leukemia. All of them. And, you know, it was usually 20 years later, 15 years later, 10 years later. That's the thing with this. So anyway, I'm going along, and I've been fighting this whole thing my whole life because of the death of my father. And I grew up, and, you know, I tell everybody that I've been mentored. Yeah, I was mentored by guys like Stegner and John Goffman at Berkeley and all these different people, but the strongest nuclear advocate in my lifetime that mentored me was my father. I mean, he was a brilliant guy. He knew he'd been human. Those guys were Semper Fi. You don't think, oh, you want to talk to a guy that knew. You want to talk a guy that was anti-nuclear. In detail, he was the greatest activist I ever saw as far as truth and human rights. You know, that's the person that mentored me, just like Megan Rice's mom and dad who mentored her. You know, I'm sure that she probably would agree with me, Sister Rice, as far as I know that she thinks about her mom and dad, and is she doing what they would want her to do? I think about that too. And I think we are doing what they would want us to do. But as far as it goes out, so here comes Fukushima, it happens. And as far as my ways, you know, what I'm reporting, how I report, I want to talk about why some of these things, people think, oh, this isn't big news, when it is big news, because I go into the intricate details of these things, because I want to break down these angles of why. And when I start off on a group of videos, sometimes I know it's hard for you guys to follow along, and sometimes it's hard for you. I'll break off You know, and I do it intentionally. I break off intentionally so people can Google and they'll go and they'll start, because I'm about the thought process. And I want people to think about how this breaks down, because I'm trying to fold this into popular culture and I don't want this to be Chernobyl this time. The biggest cover-up in world history. Because I'm sick and tired of watching people die from nuclear fallout, and then the other side sit and say, oh, no one died from nuclear fallout, because you don't drop dead. I mean, this country is so, I mean, if it just doesn't bowl you over and blow you up and your head split off, then it doesn't kill you, which is so obscene. You think about Fukushima, data come out, oh, nobody died from Fukushima. And I want you to remember a couple things. None. I reported that one of the young men had died over there, was getting ready to die, and people says, oh, that's from an old study. No, he did die. You know, remember this, I get a tremendous amount of information to me because of the early days that you're not finding, that I get. I get stuff out of Japan that nobody gets. I get stuff out of Berkeley that nobody gets. I have a whistleblower from Berkeley. I really do. You know, and am I going to expose them? Hell no. Then I won't get anything else from them. Well, Japan, that's seized up from over there. I want to talk about the studies that really do exist. I want to talk about how it folded out, China syndrome that's going on in a detailed way so you people will understand. Look, when it happened, boom. We know people like me who have studied and fought this, you know, Kevin from Beyond Nuclear. I mean, so there's a bunch of people that are, I mean, I say it all the time, before I got cancer, I ate, drank this. You know, that and derivatives in my hawk and trowel. I mean, there was really 4 things in my life. You know, my children, my girls, and my hawk and trowel, my finance freaking brain, and nuclear fallout. And it should have been, you know, my girls' nuclear fallout, you know, but I mean, I was born an environmentalist. Everybody on earth is born an environmentalist. It's just the ones that stay the environment. We're all born an environmentalist. Every one of us is born to be an environmentalist. Every one of us is born to love Mother Earth. When it happened, I knew on the shake. I knew. I mean, it was blasting all over this 8.9, 8.8. I'm like, oh no, oh no. I knew that the freaking Fukushima reactors right there, I knew they were all up and down the coast of freaking. I mean, all of us nuclear. I mean, Kevin from Beyond Nuclear was just over there. You know, there was a lot of activists were really fighting in Japan for shutdown, and I was one of them. Yeah, I wasn't over there, but I gave a lecture 2 months before talking about the most dangerous reactors in the world, and he's right about Indian Point, but Indian Point sits out on the edge, and it's from left to right, and that's why I've always said that Songs and Diablo Canyon are the most dangerous, because in the United States, from left to right. And I gave that lecture, you know, out of all these reactors all over the world, what are the most dangerous? And I said, where's this going to happen? Japan or Southern California? You know, because of the geography. So it happens over there, the shake. Boom. The core fractured on impact. To you people that don't know, nuclear power is from nuclear madness. That madness is contained just in a small little bubble of concrete, an apparatus that just holds it in there. This intense, incredible atomic nuclear energy, this madness. It is controlled madness, and that, I mean, it's a very small apparatus that creates a tremendous amount of energy. Spins those turbines with the steam. When that core fractures, boom, that's over. I mean, that's freaking, there is so much energy right there. If it shakes and that fractures, it's released, but then something even bigger happens. Once it starts to melt, and Chernobyl, remember this, so much different than Fukushima. Chernobyl was a catastrophe. Like, again, they went and entombed it, and you can watch that other video, and I get into that. But remember, Gorbachev, it wasn't just the mining operation, they would take men in these suits, and they would go in for just 10-second intervals at a time, 2 or 3 of them at a time. When it blew, they were able to actually get to that. They were actually to get that small amount. They went in with shovels, and they got rid of it. A lot of it. You know, they entombed underneath a lot of it. They haven't been able to get into Fukushima. It's been too hot. They've tried robots. Nobody's got near it for 800 and what 40 some odd days now. So it's been there for they've been melted together the whole time. So people think, oh, there's a floor under it. You know, it has to decay and eat the concrete. Oh no, oh no. That's a huge mistake that people think. Not even gamma rays. The alpha rays burn right through that concrete. They'll pour right, I mean, people say, you know, these are such powerful energy rays, they go right through it. They don't have to eat away the concrete to burn down. They go right through it. Those rays go right through it. By the way, there's some kind of crazy conception to how concrete is porous, and I love that TEPCO has come out. You know, we've got China syndrome going on over there, or whatever. We've had 3 reports recently. Boom, 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 boom. And they, oh, we're going to spray a liner, a chemical liner. Really? Really? 800-something days, we're going to spray a liner. Really? Wow. I mean, it's such a dog and pony show over there, as their own words, TEPCO. We're relying on future technology to solve. They have no answers. So it's just let it play out and see what happens. And as far as the studies that have come out, I want to talk about that too. They're hiding in plain sight. The studies that I read the last couple days, whatever, and I want people to understand this. Am I baiting, and am I baiting this whistleblower at Berkeley? Oh yeah. And am I trying to put the heat on him? And by the way, I'm going to be on Jules' show today at 11 o'clock Mountain Time. So, what, 1 o'clock Eastern. And we're going to talk about this, how you can get involved and put the heat and put the pressure on Berkeley's Marine Biology Department. Put these. Am I trying to bait them? Oh, big time I'm trying to bait them. I'm trying to bait them all into growing a soul and a conscience. Look, we have all these reports, and I want to read this last report. And I listed, and I'll list the link right here. This is by the group of scientists in their debate forum, their open forum. They put all this together in Europe. In Europe. In Europe. Now, think about that. Fukushima is pouring into the Pacific, on the Pacific Rim. Who should be paramount in this study? I mean, just by total logic, the Marine Biology Department's on the rim of the Pacific, right? Yeah. Japan? Well, look at them all. Look at them all. Dozens and dozens of Japanese freaking say. There's 15 studies these guys in Europe have put out. Europeans all over. Where are the American marine biologists? None. None. Where's Berkeley's work? Where's UCLA's work? Where's San Diego State's work? They have gigantic marine biology, which they're funded by you, the taxpayer. So many of these marine biology departments on these state universities. Washington State, they have one. Oregon State, they have one. These are state-funded universities. These are not private institutions. They're taxpayer funded. Okay, where are they? So I want to read this. This is from this group of 15. They're right there. All these studies have it. I will show you this one right here, which is showing 3 times the cesium 137. 3 times. And remember, cesium 134, 137, 1 can show up naturally, but when they do these studies, it's important to understand. What they do is they have to set the basis of the study in the Pacific. Because look, we know that the Pacific already has X amount in it from the Bikini bomb. That bomb was gigantic, you know, so it's just as contaminated as it was then. It will be in 500 years. That's one of the big mistakes that the people that push nuclear. I mean, what part of Fukushima and Chernobyl, just in the part that you wipe out these pieces of real estate forever, the Bikini atolls, those people are gone forever. They go back to visit their ancestors' graves. You know, Chernobyl, and you're never going back. Never. Never. You know, as I did in the interview with Jack Dresser, I'll tag that interview here. 24,000 years, as I told him when I used to lecture about this, I just say forever. And he's like, yeah, that's forever. As far as in time and history and space, as far as a human. So, forever. You never go back. Just that alone should end nuclear. Just the fact that they have no answer for the waste. Either one of those is enough to completely end it. The fact that they are not economically feasible and they're totally freaking fun. There's another one. But you have these. Then the big one. They mass murder. They are cancer. And I love how this has been downplayed to this. Nuclear fallout is directly correlated with cancer. That is not some studies we need to find or whatever. They're there. They're right there in your face like these are saying. I want to read this. This is the last study of this group. This is from April 13th. 19th. None of this stuff was ever intended to be shown. These are studies that people were kind of keeping quiet, going back and forth, and people were exposing them and getting them out there because there's a group of scientists all over Europe. They want this out. The American scientists, it's obvious that it's a conspiracy. They've been told not to report this. Well, we need whistleblowers to break ranks. Now, I posted this whistleblower thing because I have one and I'm baiting. Yeah, am I baiting? Yeah. Is it this person who's doing this? Yeah, I know for a fact it is. I'm like, come forward, come forward, come forward, come forward. I mean, come on, you guys. Come on. I mean, all you marine biologists, I mean, really, you're going to play ball? May God have mercy on your souls. Let's read this. 3H levels in surface seawater offshore Fukushima vary between, and I'll post this right here, read along. Repeating, as a sampling site about 40 kilometers from the coast, where all three, now this word right here, that's their word they use for a radioactive isotope. That means it's one isotope, okay? Or a cluster of isotopes were analyzed. The Fukushima impact on the levels of these three radioisotopes represent an increase above the global fallout background by factors of about 1,000, 30, and 3 respectively. That means the three of them. One of them tested 1,000 times higher. 1,000 times. One of them 30 times higher. 3 times higher is enough to just scare the bejesus out of you. 3 times. 1,000. Now remember, this is April of this year. This study is being compiled. These are marine biologists over there. Okay? And they've set it against the background that's already there. So it's 1,000 times higher than it should have been from the fallout of Fukushima. Now remember, this is into the Pacific. They're saying, oh, it didn't go into the Pacific, remember? Remember, oh, we've trapped it all in the Pacific. Sure they have. They haven't trapped any of it. The water column data indicated that the transport of Fukushima derived isotopes downward to the depth of 300 meters. 300 meters. Okay, that's a long ways. Has already occurred. The observed 137 cesium level in surface waters and in the water column are in reasonable agreement with predictions obtained from the ocean general circulation model, which indicates that the isotopes have been transported from the Fukushima coast eastward. That's huge. That's giant. That proves that the currents are carrying them eastward. Now I'll post this other study right here that was a little bit before that showing 3 times east of Hawaii in the currents. But this is just in April. And this is cesium-137, which indicates that the isotopes have been transported from the Fukushima coast eastward. Well, the current, okay, so we have the Japanese current that goes down along the coast, then it picks up. These are fast rivers in the ocean. It goes away and it gets right near San Francisco off the coast there, and then it splits. And it goes up into the Gulf of Alaska, the biggest fishery in the world. And when I talked to my friend, and I think this is a powerful, powerful thing. He's an incredible man of integrity. He watches these videos. I hope he comments. It's the biggest fishery up there. He says, there are no cameras getting there. None. He says, oh boy, try. He says, you're going to go freaking into the ocean with any camera or whatever. He says, he's been up there for years and years and years, over 15 years, working the catch. He says, the northern cod, when they come in, had burns on them. And I says, he obviously, and I asked him straight up, he said, come on, Kev, I know what a parasite is. I know what a burn off the nets is. These were red burns. So when I go to Southern California, my plan is, one of my big things that I want to do, I'm going to put some heat on Diablo Canyon. I'm going to, join together with some activists down there. We got some things planned. I want to get to SeaWorld. I want to get to some of the departments that gathered up the sea pups. Jan, Miss Smoogly Clown was down there. I know she has some videos. She hasn't put it out yet. Some pretty close-up videos of the sea pups and SeaWorld's gathering them with some serious burns on them. Joni Ray's got some great work on the pelicans as they're showing up burned. And the fish supply, they're saying, yeah, obviously the fish supply is dwindling. I mean, it works from the ground up. As this study right here, so the plankton, the whole ecosystem. Now, so these 15 reports, and I've listed these 2. Why is no one talking about it here in the United States? No one. No one. no media. Is it ignorance? A lot of it is ignorance. Is it that's so baited into the news cycle, as one of you great people posted, says it's asymmetric the way we're taught to think. We're taught to think that as the solution to pollution is dilution, and this is not pollution, this is nuclear fallout. And it's like my cancer when it formed in my body. For a doctor to believe that leukemia, cancer of the blood, shows up in a tumor, it's asymmetric, but it presents in the tumor. You know, so as nuclear fallout grows and gets bigger and bigger, it's like there isn't many people today, this year, that will die in Belarus and the Ukraine, from and across Europe of cancer, especially young women. This affects young women the most dramatic because of bone density, and we're all born with the Nevada test site now. So there's many this year will die, as maybe more this year than died in 1987, and on, because it does. It's progressive because of the populace and because of the contamination, and humanity can't catch up with it. It can't. People, you know, Einstein, I think at the end of his life, he says it very well. You know, Mr. Einstein, you have regrets? Yeah, sign off on the Manhattan Project. And I can go into a whole lecture. You know, I know Jepson who pushed the button. Now, I've talked to him. That's a whole nother, you know, issue we can get in, but that's in the past. We can't change the past. We got to deal with the here and now. And by exposing Chernobyl, we're still working on Chernobyl to get this in. I mean, 1986 is, I Live to Tell. That's a 1986 song, Cassandra, and I can go into a whole, you know, gig about what that song's about. It was written for, you know, Ophelia in Oregon, by the way. Fugo me not. But anyway, so, no, on the Pacific Rim, we have Washington State, excuse me, University of Washington. We have Oregon, you know, in there, Oregon State, which has a reactor there. We have the Columbia River reactor up there at Hanford. That disaster is a whole other nightmare. That, you know, this is like trying to eat 15 freaking herds of elephant, less than one piece of a time. You know, this is a big, big animal. As Jan said the other day, she says, you know, it's pretty funny, Kevin. She says, I didn't even know what a spent fuel rod was when I took on this thing. She says, it's pretty fun. I took it up, you know, quantum physics, nuclear physics. I'm a nuclear physicist is a hobby, you know. It is. It's pretty amazing. You know, a broke-down old construction worker like me, an old derivative trader, finance guy, and, you know, middle-aged housewife in Michigan, and a, you know, Utah plaster, you know, we have to be, you know, nuclear physicists. I mean, honestly, so where are the science world? Where is the science world in the United States? Where the fuck is the fucking science world? Where the fuck are you people? Honestly, are you fuckers all that bought and paid for? Really? You know, my whistleblower at freaking Berkeley, come on! Break fucking ranks. Tell me who you are. I'll fly down there to fucking tomorrow. I'll do an interview with you tomorrow. What are they going to do to you? Really, what are they going to do to you? You know, I guess, I used to laugh. People say, hey, the nuclear industry, Kevin, they hate you so bad, they're going to mail you leukemia in the mail. I don't laugh anymore. You know, I'm like, they didn't have to mail it to me in the mail. They gave it to me before I was born, when they human guinea pigged my father. Well, they gave it to all of you before you were born. Every one of you. These lies of the nuclear, the giant nuclear lie. I mean, there's pre-nuclear, there's post-nuclear. 45, the lie began, and it's grown, and it's grown, and it's grown. And how does this lie end? How does it capitulate? It's like the lie of the theft of the election. Where does it end? Where does the madness end? This, you know, we're not playing around here. This is not some hyperbolectic bullshit joke. This is the top of the heap, Megan Rice. She knew. She knows exactly what she's doing. She's the top of the heap. She has a brilliant, incredible mind. She's going right to the very top. This is a hierarchy. It doesn't matter. They could take our money. You know, we can argue all kinds of different issues, social issues, economic issues, political issues, but we can't argue environmental issues. We cannot argue them. The fact of the fucking matter is, this is life and death. This is the end of our planet. Okay, say China fusion is going over there, which it is. China syndrome's going on over there. We don't know. Say it burns down, it burns down, it burns down. It's been hypothesized by some brilliant minds, including Einstein, including Sokarov, including Oppenheimer. The greatest minds of our, it's been hypothesized it will burn to the center of the earth and cause a freaking something catastrophic to blow. What are we going to do? End the earth? Take a shot? You know, is that going to happen? I hope not. I guess we'll find out, but you don't know. You don't fucking know. These fucking scientists Okay, Berkeley, San Diego State, UCLA, USC, all these marine biologists. You know, the private sanctuary in Monterey. You fuckers, where the fuck are you, you fucks? You fucking ignorant fucks. Make a fucking stand. You fuckers can't. This study right here, that's out of the Pacific in April 13th. Cesium 137, 1,000 times the fucking level that it should fucking be post Fukushima. They know. Transported from the Fukushima coast eastward. This is huge. This is giant. It's growing. It's getting worse. You know, some of the 89, the half-life 50 days is showing up again. This is ongoing. This is continuous. And you got your children, your family, you know, and you're saying, okay, well, if the risk isn't there, oh, the risk is minimal, the minimal risk, that's all we hear. It's within normal. This doesn't say it's within normal fucking range. You know? What the fuck do you do? I mean, I guess it's all about your money and your fucking status, so I'm a marine biologist. I would love to tell my family, go home and fucking sit or cry, you know, tell my wife or my children or my grandchildren, hey, Grandpa, what do you do for, you know, a living? Oh, I've been a marine biologist at Cal Berkeley, at Stanford, at, you know, UCLA. Oh, really, Grandpa, you do? Well, my teacher said, I'm in the 4th grade, said this thing about Fukushima, and we talked about nuclear fission, we talked about Einstein, we talked about Sokol. What's going on over there, Grandpa? Oh, never mind, son. Here, let's go have some northern cod. Really? Fucker? You know, may God have mercy on all your fucking souls. All you fuckers that are participating in this fucking marine biology is fucking cover-up. It's a fucking conspiracy. It's worse than fucking any 9/11. It's worse than fucking any of these other things. I mean, there's conspiracies, and then there's conspiracies, and then there's conspiracies. This kills a lot of young women. We've had 6 deaths of young female in there. I watch it. It's not a pretty death. AML leukemia is a death sentence. I'm fucking telling you. It's fucking very hard to fucking survive. And my doctor told me yesterday, he said, Kevin, yeah, you can travel. We'll let you go. You know, you can go to San Diego. You can go to a few places. You know, when I went to New York, and my daughter asked, because, you know, she knows. She's like, God, Dad, you know. Joni Ray can tell you what kind of physical condition I was in. Lonnie, up there in Oregon, can tell you. Should I have been doing that? Probably not. But I felt like it was that important to me to do it. Very low platelets. My platelets are 1/4. I'm strong enough to go now. My doctor says, we'll evaluate you going back to work in October. You need to make the 2-year mark. You know, and I know the data. I know. But I'm not going to quit fighting. And California's ground zero for this. You know, we got songs shut down, a whole giant group of a lot of people fighting for a lot of years. Am I baiting? Oh, fuck yeah, I'm baiting. Am I using every trick ever known to man? But remember this. Remember this when it comes to my methods and you look at these, what the fuck is this guy doing? What is he reporting? What is this? You know, what is he up to? My credibility. Go through all the way from day one. Go from the day that Fukushima happened and watch how I go. In the end, every time I'm up to something, as I told the freaking people down there, songs is fucking over. You know, gold, silver, lots of these issues. When it's all said and done, as Steve Chinese Jobs used to say, he used Gretzky's great quotes, and fuck Steve Chinese Jobs, fuck this fucking country for not fucking protecting us. They're called protectionism for a reason. We need tariffs back, usury laws. Gretzky's quote, not Jobs' quote, Steve Chinese Jobs. I don't skate where the puck is, I skate to where the puck's going to be. Stay untuned.